Howdy everybody in YouTube land. What we have in front of us today is a Zenith Data Systems SuperSPORT 286. Now this one was a purchase from the Vintage Computer Festival Midwest, and you could see this on the outside table with some of the other videos including my own. And I noticed that the plastic is fairly yellowed on it. Now it's hard to see because the white balance, but this thing's very yellow, and it seems like all the ones I run into online pictures wise, this stuff is extremely yellow. So I'm starting to wonder if it's just the plastic composition they used, because it's also yellowed on the inside. And I also noticed that the more as this yellows, the more brittle it gets. So there's that as well. So anyways, I don't know if this machine actually works. Also, I don't have the power supply for it. And the problem is, this particular machine uses a very funky 15.5 volt reverse polarity power supply, which is not exactly common. So we're going to have to make one using my bench power supply. But first thing I got to do is I want to make sure that it's reverse polarity. And the easiest way to do that is to just grab the multimeter and put it on continuity mode, and find a ground point, like a chassis ground is as good as any, and then touch the inner center pin. Yep, center ground. So this is inverse. So we'll grab this universal power supply fitting here. Alright, so rightmost is ground. So that is the let's see, it's 15.5. I'm just gonna set it right there. So we know the outermost is ground. So all we gotta do is plug you in right there, like so. And then we're gonna plug you in right here, like so. The guy had two of these, and he sold the other one, which had the power supply with it, and this one did not. So, all right, here we go. Will it work? That is not good. No. We have a short internally in this machine somewhere. It did throw a backlight for a second, but not with any certain form of yeah. Okay. So we got to take this thing apart, and we got to fix it, because it's broken. Obviously. So perfect, because that's what I like to do on this channel, is I like to fix shit. Oh, warranty expires 10/22/94. Maybe it was made in that weird era with that weird plastic, but yeah. Oh yeah, you can see how brittle this is. Look at this. Crack. Crack. This is done. Done. It's the crap-o-matic plastic deluxe. Alright, so yes, it tried to come up, and then it draws an insane amount of current. So it was drawing about 3.5 amps, and this power supply is doubled. It's in parallel. So it was pushing about 6 amps into this computer, which is insane, because yeah, we're not even at the full 16.5 volts DC. We're at 15.2. So yeah, we got to pull this apart and figure out what's going on with the power supply. Alright, now that we got the display assembly off the top of it by taking all the screws out of the bottom, and I also removed the door, we can get a better look inside. And it's got a Connor CP323 hard drive, which looks really proprietary. I'm just going to say that right now. So, yeah. But with the screen off, let's try this again. See what we get. See if we get the same problem. Where's my switch? Yes, we do. Yeah, we've got a hard short in this circuit somewhere. All right. Well, let's start with, man, that's a nice keyboard. Let's start with the power supply section. See what we got going on in here. If we got leaky caps, shorted tantalums, anything along those lines will cause all of these issues. Because I wonder if this is like the IBM and there's tantalums in here that's short. You know what? Let's find out. I want to see what's on this motherboard. Ah, the plastic is just crumbling. Let's see. Well, we've got a Tataran battery in here. So, do we have any... No, we got polymers. There's a polymer right there. Huh, okay. Well, one thing that is going to have to happen is this. We're going to have to defuse this bomb. Because, yeah. Can't have that. You definitely have to defuse that situation. Now, I've not seen one of these blown up. Typically, I see the Maxell's blown up, but 88. Whew. Okay, that's gone. All right. So we got to figure out what's going on with the oh, hell's bells. There's a short in the system somewhere. So, you know what? I might as well pull this keyboard since I've already got it off. Why not? Okay. Nope. Ground. Just random keyboard ground. Okay. Move that guy out of the way. Is this mechanical? Yeah, it is. Alright. Move you out of the way. Okay. Right. So, let's keep plugging along with this thing. Alright, so I disassembled all the parts out of here. The floppy drive looks pretty standard. Run of the mill. Hard drive is extremely proprietary. It's got this crazy proprietary interface. But then this card that goes with it, but it looks like a standard 40-pin IDE. So, I mean, you could shoehorn an IDE drive in here if you wanted. I probably wouldn't. I would probably just put like a XT IDE CF card or something there if this drive is junk. But anyway, so stripped the board down, stripped everything down. I have this power supply completely removed, and it's got this stupid SDK module, and I've had nothing but problems out of those SDK modules. Especially in audio amps. Not so much power supplies, but definitely audio amplifiers and convergence processors and projection sets. So here we go. Let's try to run this power supply without any load at all. Yep, same problem. Alright, so this power supply is junk. There's something shorted in this power supply, and I have an itching suspicion it's in here. So I need to pull a data sheet for this and see if I can't find something. Okay, yeah, someone's had some fun with this. Because, look, you can see scratches and a lot of hand soldering. So someone's tried to fix this in the past and didn't get very far. Yep, you can even see where someone's tried to work with this IC too. This is a mess. This is a mess. Oh well. Let's see if we can figure it out. There's no schematic. There's no data sheet on that chip. So, oh boy, I'm diving into the deep end of a pool with alligators and no glasses. I think the pieces are starting to come together what happened here, because I was looking at this, I was tracing out the DC input stage and how it goes with the design, and I'm noticing like this capacitor right here is slightly bubbled up. Well, if you follow it, it goes to the main DC jack. So that tells me that someone has plugged the wrong power adapter in here with the wrong polarity. So that's likely what happened to this thing, because I don't see a protection diode anywhere in here. It's not on this board, it's not anywhere. So this thing gets the wrong, yeah, that's screwed. So, alright, so here's the problem. So if I meter across this capacitor, which is the DCN to the board, it's shorted. So something got knocked out in this path from the incorrect adapter. Now I'm guessing someone plugged the wrong adapter in here. I don't know. But that's certainly what it seems like. So, yep, we're going to need to find out what blew up. And chances are it's this STK. But I can't find a schematic on this board. I can't find any data sheets on this chip. So it's like it was custom made for Zenith. I don't know. So I am literally flying in the dark here. We're going to have to take guesses. So I took this thing apart further and did some checking, and I did find this. And I found it by that method as I turned it on. So, yeah. So this diode here, which the PCB identifies as a Zener diode. I don't know if it is or not. But, shorted. So that's a problem. So let's pull the data sheet and see what that is. Before I do that, let's check the circuit here. See if we have any more faults. No, we don't. We're good. Okay, I still don't know if this chip survived, but that certainly didn't. So let's pull a data sheet if I can. So here's our bigger problem. This is a 6.8 volt Zener diode at a 1/4 watt is what this cross references to. That's fine and dandy, but electrically, when I buzz it out, I am getting continuity between the, hold on, let me hold this at the same time. I'm getting continuity between the DC jack on that one, and if I go on the other side here, DC jack on the other one. So the DC jack is in line with this in parallel. There's no way a 6.8 volt Zener diode is going to hold a 16.5 volt input. Something's wrong here because electrically we're going all the way through that. It means there's still another short, and it's probably in this 7703 or whatever it is. I might have to pull this chip and see if that solves the problem, because there's something going on there. Something's not right, because that's not supposed to be the case. So studying the circuit a little bit more, the Zener diodes, the cathode, and I don't remember. So that Zener diode is connected on the 5 volt supply, because if we follow that trace, it comes out to here, which is the 5 volts going out to the hard drive and floppy drive. So that means the 5 volt output is tied to the DC jack. That's bad. So there's a short between the 5 volt output and the DC jack input. Where? Interesting. Took the STK out. Got my probes between 5 volt and DC input over there. Sure enough, short went away. So we need the 6.8 volt Zener diode, and the reason why it died was because this shorted and shot 16.5 volts into this Zener diode. So that's got to be replaced. That's got to be replaced. And then I want to change some of these caps out here too, because I had to bend them out of the way anyway. So time to put in a parts order. Alright, so some time has passed and we've got some parts in. Now, I have the STK chip. Let's hope it's good. You know, we have that item. Yeah, well, it's only good if it works, right? So we have that, and then I have a pack of 6.8 volt Zener diodes. So we should be able to get that installed. And then I'm going to throw, because I don't know the condition of these caps, so I'm going to throw a set of caps in there too, so I have those parts out there. And then all the old stuff's right there. Now I got to put that transistor back in, and the way this thing is built is very weird. So I've got to solder the transistor on top, but then solder the STK pack on the bottom because it goes like this in the board. So yeah, not fun, but it is what it is. So we'll get it. The other thing I want to note too is that the plastic is literally falling apart. So if this doesn't work, I'm likely just going to part this machine out, because the problem is the plastic is just degrading. It's funny because it's made in the late 80s and not the mid 90s, where this plastic was a lot more common. So I guess Zenith was just cheaping out on the plastic compositions, because the whole thing is yellow. It's not just the outside. And what it is, it's this plastic is just degrading with age, and it's getting more and more brittle with it. So it's starting to fall apart. So, yeah, that's where we are at the current moment in time. So, alright, now we just got to get these parts in here and hope that it fixes my problem. Because that had a short in it. We measured right there with that one. So, alright, so let's get it all fixed up. Oh, one other thing I'm thinking about doing is this DC jack. This thing does not have any reverse polarity protection in it. So I'm thinking about strapping a diode across this DC jack, so if someone plugs the wrong adapter in here, because this is center negative, not center positive. So if someone plugs the wrong adapter in here, it'll fry it. And chances are that's probably what happened to this thing originally. So wrong polarity adapter was used, and that was the end of it. It's all she wrote. So alright, yep, let's go ahead and get this thing done and just cross our fingers that there's been no other damage to the logic circuitry from the failure of the SDK. This is the most asinine design ever. So, gotta get the heatsink on first. Then we gotta put that transistor in from the top, put the screw in like that, solder it in from the bottom, right there. Then we have to position the SDK in place and solder it right there. Because you can't, yeah, this is terrible. And then I got to take the heatsink back off and then put this on it and solder it anyways. Pretty much like that. So SDK is clamped back on, and then we've had to solder it. I also had to trim the leads because they were too long. Soldered down there, comes through the top. Transistor had to be soldered first before that could be soldered on. Yeah, it's a fun little sandwich. So I'm just hoping that it works, because if not, yeah, good luck troubleshooting that. Alright, so now that we're all back together, I went ahead and did a measurement between the DC input to 5 volts. No more short. The short is gone. So that STK was for sure bad. So I'm hoping the logic circuitry didn't get damaged, because the only thing that stood in the way between that failure mode was this 6.8 volt Zener. So yeah, I'm kind of concerned with that. That's kind of why I'm not. Yeah, I went ahead and put all the caps in here because I don't want to mess with this thing again. But I'm just really, really, really hoping that the system works properly this time around. Cause yeah. Yep. Alright, so I think I want to loosely throw the logic board up here with this plugged in, because I'm curious if it even attempts to work. Alright, so here we go. Right side is ground. So we're going to go on the left side here. Alright, I like that. Oh, I heard a beepalicious. That is a awesome, awesome, awesome sound. It's actually working. Holy crap. That power supply is fixed. So it sounds like we need to now get ourselves aligned with getting this thing put back together. Because we now have the power supply repaired. Now I have to remember how this thing goes back together. Alright, so now that we have the drives reinstalled and anchored down, so let's try this thing again. Well, that guy's seized. Now, is anyone surprised? I'm certainly not. The heads are probably stuck to the platter. And this drive is very proprietary. So, yeah. Okay, so if there's going to be any hope of using the original hard drive at all, even if it's for archaeological dig purposes, we're going to need to free up that platter, which means I'm going to have to take this drive apart and inspect it and figure out what's going on with it, because there's an issue. And yeah, I can't just like spin the platter blindly. I need to actually look at it because I don't want to rip the head off, because that can happen real easily. So the only thing I know to do at this point is actually take this drive apart entirely somehow. Now I think this has a standard 40 pin IDE interface, but it's this weird proprietary setup. So it seems like what they did was they took the hard drive and they split it in half. They put the controller over here and put the hard drive over there instead of having it all in one, like a more modern hard drive. And this hard drive is extremely shallow too, so I think the only way this thing is ever going to work again, if this drive is bad for good, is like an XT to IDE adapter, or like putting a standard compact flash IDE interface right here, and then taking a modified XT IDE BIOS and just making it part of the main BIOS somehow. I'm not entirely certain how to do that yet, because I don't know the pinout of those two connectors, but I'm thinking that might be the ISA. But then there's something here too, which I don't know what that's about either. So, alright, yeah, that's an issue. So we're going to have to get in that drive and find out what's going on. Now, I'm trying not to breathe on it, but this hard drive is an interesting design to get apart. So I took that screw out and that screw out and cracked it apart. This fell out, but I think I know where it goes. So this is an interesting design. So like it comes apart like this. It's got this gasket. So what I was doing, I was checking for rubber deterioration, and I don't see anything. But this drive is deteriorating in other strange ways. Like, see that magnet down there and up there? The magnets are starting to delaminate. So that is an issue. I'm going to have to get that out of there, because that's not going to work. We can't have that going on. Doesn't look like it's suffering from platter rot at all. And more importantly, the platter is free. So I'm not seeing anything going on there, but that's an issue. We're going to have to get the neodymium magnets are delaminating. God, that's almost breathes to me bad storage conditions, which explains why it's so yellowed. But I want to stop talking and a little more repair on this, because I don't want to leave this exposed for too long. Unfortunately, I had to leave the neodymium magnets alone. I wanted to pull that out, but underneath it's starting to turn to powder, so I just left it. It's screwed. This thing's not gonna last. It's just how it is. The magnets are falling apart, but the platter's free, so I went ahead and put it back together. So let's see how this thing acts now. It's spinning up. It did initialize. It initialized. So if it works just long enough to take a peek what's on it, we'll be good. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and start getting this back together again. I'm not expecting much from this hard drive. I think the ultimate solution, like I said earlier, is to get rid of all of this and put like a IDE to CF card or SD card adapter here and just do it that way. If the system will recognize it. If not, we'll have to use an XT IDE BIOS and patch it in. I don't know. We'll have to see. But in the meantime, let's see if this drive works as it is for now. Alright, so I've loosely got this thing sitting on here. There's no screws or anything in it. It's just kind of on here right now. Alright. We got power. Everything's energized. These are the parts that were actually bad in the machine. So that's all it took to stop it from working. So let's hope the hard drive's good because I'm curious what this machine was used for. Power on. Hey, there we go. Error. Well, that's not surprising because I left the bomb out of it. So, okay, escape to continue. Keyboard works. Errors found. Incorrect video configuration. Please run setup. That's a funky setup screen. You know what? This is not really coming through on camera that well. Actually, it does that way. It doesn't come through on camera that well. I'll just leave it like that for now for the camera. Okay, let's see. Expansion chassis not installed. Serial power down. Winnie. I don't know what Winnie means. External floppy not present. Internal LCD. Okay, so that works. Hard drive. I think is a 20 meg in these. So that's one more. Okay, I'll just do it type 2. That may not be the right one, but I'm just going to do it. Let's see. Serial, modem, enable, add-on, parallel. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just do it that way for now. I don't know what the memory is in this thing. Backlight. Okay, boot floppy, then hard disk. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Escape when done. Done making changes. Now, what I don't know is if this thing will actually retain it on a reboot. I might have to have this battery. Because I've run into these old machines that are like that. Well, tried to read the floppy drive. Let's see what the hard drive does. It's blinking. Oh, it's working. Holy crap, it's working. Laptop manager. I'm not even sure what that is. Change menu. Let's see. Well, let's start at the beginning. F1. 3x50. What is this? Whoa. Welcome to the Alcatel DML 3x50 system. Whoa, that's neat. Well, of course, there's no link because we don't, it's not connected. I don't know what this is. Judging by the way it's drawn, it's like some rack mount piece of equipment. So this is like some kind of setup configuration software for Alcatel. Maybe cellular telephone or PBX stuff. Yes, I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna go to DOS. Okay, that's a problem. Reboot. Only way to get out of that. Alright, so we're gonna let this thing reboot. And actually, I'm thinking about just going to DOS mode. Because, let's see, dial. I don't know what dial is. Let's figure out what that is. Cannot initialize. Slow. Oh, there's phone numbers and stuff in here. Okay, I'm gonna reboot that. Not like any of those are any good anymore, but probably BBSs or control systems or who knows. Alright, so let's go to DOS. Actually, no. How do I get out of that? Exit. All right. So we have com. Let's see what else do we have in there. Oh, lap link. Research, Tracy, resume. So we've got some personal documents in here. I'm not going to look at that. Let's start here. Utils. But you know what? The hard drive is working. It's actually working, even with the neodymium degraded. So, okay. So I think, what is this? Hold on. You know what? This is the Zenith SuperSPORT utility package. I don't know if this stuff is archived anywhere. So you know what I need to do? I need to back this up. Yeah. I need to back this up. So invalid now. I don't know if this is actually the Zenith software or not, but I think it is. I'm just running commands now. See, it may not be because I'm getting this weird error. But let's see. Well, hold on. This program requires Microsoft Windows, so that can't be right. I should still back it up though because I don't know if it's been archived. Doesn't look like there's Windows on here. Let's see what DOS version is in here. 5.0. See, that means DOS shell. Let's see, CD. I'm curious what's in here. 1, 2, 3. This product has been uninstalled. Alright, so someone got rid of Lotus 1, 2, 3 because that is likely what that was. Alright, so, okay. That's pretty much it. Alright, so I think we're good. Everything's fine. So, two things I want to do is I'm going to back up the utilities directory and stuff like that. Because I think it should be saved, in my personal opinion. That's the standard DOS stuff. Looks like there's some temporary documents from like 93, 94. Hey, it does have DOS shell. Oh god, the screen is so bad. It's just, look at the whole thing just flickering. It's gonna get out of that. Right. Okay, let's see. The only thing left now, let's see, what's in PW? Oh, I typed that wrong. This keyboard actually feels really well. It sounds good too. Alright, looks like it's going to be PW. Let's see, what is PW? Professional Write main menu. Never heard of it, but I'm sure that's a text editor. Yep, it is. No, I don't want to. Yeah. Get out of that. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go get something to back up the utilities folder, and actually we need to test the floppy disk drive, so I'll do that in the next segment, and then I'll get this thing put back together. And I think we're good. But that hard drive is humming away. Alright, I got my DOS boot disk in there. Let's see if it actually works. This will let me know if the floppy drive's any good or not. Yep, it is. It's working. So let me get my zip disk in there. Zip drive has been initialized. Yeah, I saw a blink, so that means a parallel port's compatible. Hey, what do you know? It's working. Nice. Alright, so we have something we can use to back up the system, so we're good. So let's do that. So I'm currently backing up. Now, this machine is another such case where you can't just like throw a XTIDE or whatever in there to do a backup because there's no expandability, right? Also, I could use the serial port if I wanted to, no problems there. But I'm using my boot disk with the parallel port zip driver to run this machine because one, like I said, there's no expandability at all on this machine, at least that isn't proprietary. And two, the hard drive configuration is proprietary the way it's laid out. So it's the best way to back up a system when you have, something weird like this. Backlight auto shut off on me, but if it wasn't obvious before that this was a business machine, especially with the Alcatel software, this couldn't be any more evidence. Copying protected software is illegal. Oops. Another thing I wanted to point out too is this thing has been used as late as 95 and as early as 88. Now, utilities 010188, dial 010188. Now, I don't know if that's the default date of the BIOS. It could be. But it leads me to believe that those are factory. And then this was installed in 89, but it's been used all the way up to 94. So assist, research, Tracy, and resume are actual professional write documents or whatever. I'm not gonna look into those to respect the customer, but or the original owner, I should say. So I'm just gonna leave it like this and put it back together, and we'll probably format it and all that, but that's not for this video. So anyways, let's get her back together. And there we have it. One fully functional Zenith Data Systems SuperSPORT 286. All the pieces are back on there. We're all back together now. Yeah, the plastic is a little bit in sad shape, but I think they all are at this point. So, and also, pretend you didn't see this because, oops, I don't even know where that goes. I'm thinking it holds. I might actually hold this drive in there, but that drive is actually in there really well, so I don't know. Anyways, you didn't see that. So, alright, the back cover's back on, although there unfortunately is a piece of plastic that's broken there, so it won't stay retained properly. But, not a whole lot I can do about it. But at least the door is there and not completely missing. And retro brighting it wouldn't help here because it's actually the plastic itself that's degrading. And you can see the differences. So, alright, well, that is it for this little computer. The only thing wrong with it was this setup here. So, anyways, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Leave a comment down below if you have one. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching.